Still Shining Episode 7 review. Taeseo is becoming toxic, perhaps? In the previous episodes, Taeseo and Yunas's relationship blossoms. However, both their responsibilities peak high when Taeseo's grandmother falls sick and Yuna's guest house issue keeps lingering around. Will they choose each other again or part their ways? Lee Suk-in. The series has 10 episodes, with 2 episodes dropping every Friday at 8:20 p.m. IST. The 7th episode starts with Taeseo spotting Sung-chan and avoiding him. He then keeps calling Yuna and finally spots her on the street. Over there, he comforts her, stating that Sung-chan has left and she needn't to worry about it. Yuna, however, asks about the other girl who came with Taeseo, and he explains about the help she provided in saving his grandmother. Yuna feels at peace and shares her concerns about the guest house issue, explaining that Sung-chan is merely a business partner. However, Taeseo does find Sung-chan reliable after seeing him chase Yuna at the railway station. Timeskip, Yuna agrees to check the resolved contract of her guest house, and she checks the place out with Sung-chan. She updates Taeseo about it, but he feels sad about it. He, on the other hand, takes care of his grandmother in Hwaseo, but waits for Yuna's text. Yuna checks the guest house, and nostalgia hits her. However, she states that she won't return there, but will stay in Seoul and just manage the guest house. Sung-chan tries to knock sense into her, but she does bother. Also read Phantom Lawyer Episode 5 review. We get another ghost whom Yi-rang must help later that night. Yuna surprises Taeseo by opening his apartment's door from inside the home and giving him a warm hug. The two discuss the future, and they decide to stay together and rule out places to figure out where they can choose to live forever. The following day, Sung-chan informs about a guest named Gaeon, who has booked the guest house. This prompts Yuna to visit the guest house again, clean it up, and prepare it for the booking. Seeing her there, Sung-chan scoffs and wishes she to come back, though initially she declines. She decides to stay there one night to know where her heart lies. The next day, she leaves and meets Taeseo, holds his hands, and says that Seoul seems to be their best place. However, in Taeseo's heart, worries about his grandparents and younger brother surround him, and he knows Yeonwoo is the place he desires to live. But it's high time he takes care of himself, right? One day, when Taeseo visits Yeonwoo and spends time with his grandpa, he notices a taxi pass by. He then checks Yuna's late father's place and sees Sohyun there. As the two talk about how she left for Hawaii and how Yuna's father died, she mentions the guest house. When she mentions Sung-chan and how he took care of Yuna since December 2020, the time when Yuna and Taeseo broke up, she reveals that Yuna and Sung-chan briefly dated and broke up. This tears Taeseo up, as he now knows his intuitions were right. He immediately goes to Seoul, and in front of Yuna's shared apartment, he calls her and tells her to rule out Tongyang, guest house town, and Yuna stands frozen after hearing what he just said because she's already packed her suitcase and is standing in front of her guest house. The series continues to keep things messy but also emotional. Taeseo seems to be protective not just on his family but also of Yuna. He does trust Sung-chan a bit, but also does realize that Yuna is adult enough to handle herself. Yuna is torn between her past and the present as her guest house issue keeps popping up. She wonders whether it is best to pursue her dream or sit beside Taeseo.